And I still respect those French resistance forces for that.
I bet they were really excited to have you be there, though, weren't they?
Yes, they were. They wanted to get me to Chef DuPont as quickly as they could. Now, I never did forgive my platoon leader for this. And excuse me, Reverend.
That's all right.
I got in there and said, well, Lieutenant Horn, I finally made it. Sergeant Dix, where in the living hell have you been for 2 days? And I never did forgive him for cheering me out.
No sympathy, just a chew out for not getting there on time.
I'll tell you, we were the best of friends. We traded everything except in girlfriends and toothbrushes. That's where we drew the line. But he died a few years ago, and there's a little story I'll bring out later. You read it just a little bit ago. But,
Don, you were saying there was a really high casualty rate among your group.
On D-Day?
Yeah.
Yes. On the 6th of June, we dropped 130 officers and enlisted men. On the 3rd of July, there was 94 left. On the 4th of July, we got orders to attack Hill 95. At the end of the day of the 4th of July, there was 15.
Wow.
Oh, dear.
That's not a very good average.
No, that's not a good. And you were one of the 15.
And I was one of the 15.
Oh, my. How many of the 15 of you are still here, this side of it?
We know of 6. Every year we get a new roster of who we know of our people that are still alive, to include the widow women.
Mm-hmm.
They go to Europe with us every year. I haven't gone for 4 years. I haven't been able to. But I'm with them.
Oh, yeah. Sure. You bet.
You know, I read recently that 4,000 World War II veterans a day are dying.
That's what they say.
4,000 a day.
4,000 a day.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the military cemeteries are almost filled to capacity because of the age of the WW2 veterans.
Fort Riley is getting new ground designated as a cemetery.
Oh, excellent.
They've been on it for a long time, but I think they've got it done.
Oh, great.
It'll be on the east side of camp, from what I understand, on the east side of Fort Riley.
Okay. So there's 6 of you really strong paratroopers left.
Yes. This was the last count we had, that I had. There was 6 of us.
Wow. That's terrific.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Now, do you want to tell us about what happened to you after you got to the fighting part?
Got to after the what?
Yeah. Where you?
When I got back to the outfit?
Right.
Okay, we started out. Our objective was to secure bridges, main highways, and railroads to keep the Germans from bringing those tank forces down from Paris. Mm-hmm. You heard that nobody would wake him up. He was the Führer Schlafen. He was asleep, and I guess he was a grouchy old booger when he got up, but nobody would wake him. And nobody could move.
Well, it's kind of bad news, too.
Yeah, and nobody could move those troops except in Hitler. Yeah. He had things so much under his control. So we got a good base started before he ever knew that the situation was on. Mm-hmm. But we went out and we obtained our objectives and our missions and everything. Then we started working our way across the peninsula to shut Cherbourg off, because the Germans did not want us to have that port at Cherbourg. And we was going to get it, and we got it. So...
was Hill 95 between where you were in Cherbourg?
No. It was straight ahead. It was across the peninsula.
Okay. And that's where you lost quite a few more troops then?
That's the day that we lost all but 15 of us. We lost the 94, and out of that 94, there was 15 of us left that evening.
Are most of those young men buried there at Normandy or in that area?
They had the choice when the war was ended that their remains could be brought home at government expense, or they could be remained in the cemeteries that we're in. We have cemeteries all over there.
Yeah.
And when we go on our yearly trip, we usually leave about the 29th of May, and we're in Chef DuPont and Sainte Marie-Église on the 5th and 6th of June for ceremonies. Then we go out to the cemeteries where we know I know where my people are buried, in what cemeteries, and where they're located. We have a little memorial service. We dedicate another tree, and then we split up and go out into the cemetery where our people are. And I know that they follow me because I do the same thing at Sylvester P. Castro, at his grave. He was more trouble. We was always having to get Sylvester out of trouble. And I told him, one day I says, Sylvester, you straighten up. I'm tired of getting you out of trouble. The first sergeant's tired of getting you out of trouble. You straighten up or you'll be 30 days in that kitchen. You show me, Sergeant, you show me. I show you what? I'm best damn KP in 508. He was. He spent 30 days in that kitchen.
Did you have better meals? Oh, I'm sorry, Don, it's time for us to take a little break, but
okay.
I want you to keep up with your story from where you are right now, okay?
Okay.
Thanks.
Good morning.
Okay, and now...
Don't forget the 82nd Airborne Division.
There you go.
Okay, 82nd Airborne Division.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Don, one of the things you were commenting on during the break is that D-Day wasn't your only jump. You went back to England later and then went into
Holland.
Okay.
Operation Market Garden.
Okay, was that a similar situation, or was it a better situation?
It was a better situation. It was a daylight jump. It was on a Sunday morning, September the 17th, at 1:30 in the afternoon. I get 1:30 and 11:30 mixed up. But we could see our drop field a long ways off. It was so clear. And just no wind. We just sifted down like we figured we were supposed to most of the time, and we didn't.
What was the normal altitude that you would jump from?
Around 700-800 feet.
Yeah, and I would think it would give you a lot better feeling to be able to see where you were jumping than jumping in the dark.
Yes, and we could see what was going on the ground, if anything. Because there was Germans in this area in Holland, outside of Groesbeck. Groesbeck is on the border. One side of the main street's Holland, the other side is Germany. Some of our people sifted over into German territory. And, it's the country of Germany. It's not just a little piece of ground. It is Germany. But and we could see movement on the ground, so we knew there was troops in the area. But it was a beautiful day. And this family, lady that runs a museum there for us, tells us about it. She was just a little girl. Excuse me. They had just gotten home from church, and they was having little snacks and that. And they heard these airplanes coming. Her father said, come on, get down in the basement, down in the basement. So they all got down in what they called their basement. It was a storm cellar. And they heard the planes come, they heard the planes go, but they didn't hear any bombs. So her father says, I'm going up and see what's wrong. Stay here. He was gone a little bit, and he came back down. And he was crying. He said, get up here. It's the most beautiful Sunday afternoon you'll ever see.